Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 36th Annual National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. Please welcome Dr. Sharon Jenkins, Miss NBC Hall of Fame 1991. Here to welcome you is our 2020 through 2021 Miss Hall of Fame, Patria Gaston.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Patria Gatson, 2021 graduate of Talladega College, and it is my honor to serve as the 2020-2021 Miss National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Welcome to our 36th annual induction ceremony where we have the opportunity to honor those that have made significant contributions in their respective fields. Our founder, Thomas Dorch Jr., had a vision for honoring the immense contribution of Black college alumni, and here we are, 36 years later, continuing in this tradition. Your participation tonight helps us remember the distinct accomplishments and amazing collections of talents that have been instrumental in shaping the lives of our young men and women, which helped change our world, and it deserves to be celebrated. It is my honor to introduce tonight's Mistress of Ceremonies, the dynamic Monica Pearson. You no doubt have heard and seen Monica Pearson on Atlanta television and radio airwaves for many years. The Emmy Award winning broadcaster is native to Louisville, Kentucky. In fact, she received 33 regional Emmys for her work, including one for her contemplative interviews for the Congressman John Lewis. She has earned a master's degree from the University of Georgia and is a frequent speaker and host. She is seen and heard on local television commercials. We love having her again this year. Please welcome Monica Pearson.
Thanks so much for that terrific introduction. I am so happy to be back again this year. You know, when Tommy Dorch calls on you, you have to answer. We're celebrating Black culture tonight with our honorees. What better way to kick off the program than with a song that has been called the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Here to perform this anthem is talented saxophonist and recording artist Mike Phillips. Thank you, Mike. That simply was beautiful. Here to bring us our invocation is 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, Reverend Jamal Bryant.
The old saying is, if it's easy, it's not worth having. But if it's worth having, it's worth fighting for. I wanted to take a moment and pray because I know that you have been working hard to achieve your goal and to meet your expectation. The Bible says, not by might, not by power, but by His Spirit. We need His Spirit in the middle of this pandemic for you to be more than a conqueror, but a high achiever. Good and gracious God, I come to you today on behalf of these, your scholars, I pray that you will cover not just their mind, but their heart and their will to be able to do what has never been done before. God, I know you didn't bring them this far to leave them, but I need you to stand with them, and I need you to push them. Every opportunity, open it for them, and every obstacle, shut it down for them. We claim it all in your name, Jesus. Amen.
Our first honoree is Mr. Gregory Lloyd, Sr., our athletics honoree, a former American football linebacker. Lloyd played in the National Football League for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was named to 5 Pro Bowls. Let's hear more about Mr. Lloyd.
Hello, everyone. I'd just like to thank the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame for making me a member of their class of 2021. What an honor. I am indeed honored. This athletic journey of mine started some 50 years ago. 6 years old, growing up in a little town called Fort Valley, Georgia. I remember my very first football coach coming to my house, asking my aunt if it was okay if I played football. She agreed as long as he could drop me off and bring me back from football practice. His name was Coach Billy Powell. He just happened to be a pastor. My very next football coach was also a family member. He's my Uncle Nathaniel. And I played for him for the most part of my Little League career as a member of the Dallas Cowboys Little League football team. And from there, I moved to middle school right down the street where Coach Joe Hughley tutored me at outside linebacker and inside linebacker. And then I moved right on down the street, Peach County High School, where Coach Pat Horton became my head football coach at Peach County High School. In 1983, graduated from Peach County High School. Nobody came knocking, no major colleges. So the college right there in my hometown, Coach Doug Porter, I think he came to my house, and I don't know what he said to my aunt, but again, I got wooed to go to Fort Valley State College, and what a choice. I was home. Literally, I was home. When I got to Fort Valley State College, it was home. It felt like home. You were treated like you were home, but you still had to work. You know, it was a small atmosphere, but it was family oriented, and it was all about giving. It was all about working hard, and it was there that my roots of not being outworked, you know, were I guess you can call were nurtured. So in 1987, coming out of college, Pittsburgh drafted me in the 6th round, and they really got a bargain, to say the least. Based on my stats, I was probably easier first-round draft choice, but again, I went to HBCU, and back then, even though we've had giants come out of HBCUs, the Walter Paytons and the Jerry Rices and the Willie Lanier's and the Ed Too-Tall Joneses and the Dunny Shells and the Mel Blunts, so many names coming from HBCUs, and just right out of Fort Valley State College. Big Cat Wright, Rayfield Wright. So I step into those shoes, and how do I fulfill those shoes? So I go to Pittsburgh, and I try to become everything that I could be, but the most important thing I had to remember was where I came from. So giving back, especially being a member of the alumni, is a really, really big thing, not just for me, for the people around me and the people I had around me. So I created a scholarship for athletes at Fort Valley State College. And that has been my kind of calling card, and that's been my way of saying, hey, Fort Valley, I didn't forget you. Hey, Fort Valley, I'm giving back. And I really see Fort Valley as my home, and I really see it as, you know, as the place for a lot of these kids who are not getting offers to go to D1 colleges. HBCUs are the place to be. You're going to get an education. Not only are you going to get an education, it's going to be family-oriented, and they're going to teach you how to become the men and women that you need to be. And that's one of the things that happened to me. I grew up in college. I accepted the responsibilities of the things that I did or didn't do. And that's what the people don't understand about being at an HBCU. You're not a number. You are a family member. So I just again want to thank the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame for selecting me, Greg Lloyd, a little kid from Fort Valley, Georgia, who went to Fort Valley State College and University, or should we say the Fort Valley State College University, Thank you guys. I am deeply honored for this, and have a great day.
Here to formally induct Mr. Lloyd into the NBCA Hall of Fame is Dr. Paul Jones, Fort Valley State University.
As president of Fort Valley State University, it gives me great pleasure to formally induct our distinguished alumnus, Mr. Gregory Lloyd, into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Class of 2021 in the category of athletics.
Congratulations, Mr. Gregory Lloyd Sr. Our next inductee is Dr. Tyrone Burrows, our business inductee. In 1987, Dr. Burrows founded the global consumer products management firm First Choice Sales and Marketing. His vision was to create an innovative sales and marketing approach for the personal care industry. In 2019, Dr. Burrows launched Burrows Restaurant Group, Incorporated, which now owns the U.S. Mid-South franchise rights of Guthrie's Chicken Restaurants. Let's hear more about Dr. Burrows on this video.
It is my honor and privilege to be inducted into the 2021 class of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this organization and to be in the company of so many great leaders who are deeply committed to making a difference in the lives of Black and brown people. It means so much to me to be honored by this organization because the education at my HBCU gave me a solid foundation and has enabled me to accomplish so many great things in life. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. Today, I am proud to say that selecting my HBCU ended up being one of the best decisions of my life. I had the type of school environment I needed while connecting to professors and students who looked like me and shared the same situations I was in. I am a proud graduate of Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. Go Tigers, go Tigers, which was founded in 1870 by a woman, Bathsheba A. Benedict, and now led by a woman, Dr. Roslyn Ardis. During the first quarter century of its existence, Benedict Institute directed its educational programs to the severely limited economic and social conditions of the Black population in the South. This is important because it was not only the driving force behind Benedict College, it was also the reason why all our HBCUs came into existence. Our HBCU's founding fathers and mothers knew that we deserve better and that Black and brown students will not only improve their futures, but accomplish greatness for an entire race with the right support. You know, through hard work, perseverance, and the support of my family, I founded First Choice Global, which includes a consumer products management firm, real estate holding, and a variety of restaurants and funeral homes. But the most gratifying aspect of my career has been the work of the Burrows Foundation, which provides scholarships and a variety of supports to students attending Benedict College. The Lord has blessed me with great abundance, and His expectation is for me to share it and to be a blessing for others. I believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to be the very, very best that they can be. And at the same time, I believe it is my responsibility to help level the playing field. Our new generation needs us more than ever, and it's our responsibility to keep the door open for those that come after us. Those of you who hold leadership positions in corporations ensure that your organizations are engaging positively with our HBCUs, and that the diversity, equity, and inclusion conversations turns into real action. I am determined that as many students as possible receive an excellent higher education, have access to top faculty, and can learn from necessary research and positively impacts the global community. I really hope that their lives could be transformed as mine has been. You know, receiving this honor could not have been possible without an army of people who helped shape my life. Thank you to my colleagues, team members, and industry partners at First Choice Sales and Marketing Group. I stand on your shoulders, and words cannot express my gratitude for all the hard work and dedication that you exemplify every single day. Recently, I was asked, what factors do I attribute to my success? The answer, without any hesitation, was our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and my wife, Nelda. She has been right along my side every step of the way. She is my spiritual foundation, and I am beyond blessed to have a life partner that sees the good in the world and wants to serve as a gift from the Lord. We have 3 beautiful children and 5 even more beautiful grandchildren. I sincerely thank all of the sponsors and organizers for hosting this magnificent event. This recognition will always have a special place of honor in my heart. And again, I want to thank all of you for this opportunity.
Here to formally induct Dr. Tyrone Burrows into the NBCA Hall of Fame in the business category is Dr. Roslyn Ardis, President, Benedict College.
As president of Benedict College, the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU, it is my pleasure to formally induct distinguished alumnus, generous benefactor, and faithful trustee, Dr. Tyrone Adam Burrows, into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Class of 2021 in the category of business. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dr. Burrows. Our next inductee is Melanie Campbell, our civil rights inductee. Melanie Campbell is president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and a convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. Campbell is recognized as one of the hardest working servant leaders in civil rights, women's rights, voting rights, and the social justice movement. Let's hear more about this dynamic leader on this video. Roll the video.
We march for the human right to just live. We march for living wages, paid sick days, and paid family leave. We march to protect Black colleges and Black businesses, voting rights, LGBTQ rights, immigrant and disability rights. And we march for freedom of religion and freedom of the press. We march to send a message to the White House, Congress, state, and local politicians that we are united and we will not be moved.
Good evening. Thank you so very much for this honor. I want to for being inducted into the class of 2021 for the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Thank you, Thomas W. George Jr., Chair of the Hall of Fame, my mentor, my friend, my leader, for this honor tonight. I also want to thank President of Clark Atlanta University, Dr. George French Jr.,
who nominated me for this honor tonight. And I appreciate it more than words can ever express. And I find it something that challenges me to continue to fight for justice and civil rights for our people and all people. When I received the letter, I just stopped and I reflected on, my goodness, I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame with so many other servant leaders that I congratulate who are also being inducted here tonight. And I thank you for your service to our community, our nation, and indeed the world. But what it made me think about was where we are today, that we have to keep up the fight for justice and civil rights for our people. There is an assault on our voting rights like we've not seen before. There's an assault on women's rights and so many other issues of justice that makes me take this moment of reflection to also fuel me to keep up the fight. Because I learned about the issue of service from growing up in Mims, Florida with my parents, Isaac and Janet Campbell. And I thank them for what they instilled in me and all of my siblings, that our responsibility was to serve no matter what we did in life. The service was a part of our responsibility. And I spent those years in Atlanta graduating from Clark College, where our motto was culture for service. And I was blessed in my life to be touched by people like Tommy Dortch and John Dale Johnson and Reverend James Orange and Cleo Orange and Mrs. Evelyn Lowry and Dr. Joseph Lowry and Andrew Young and Maynard Jackson and Congressman John Lewis and so many, many others, C.T. Martin, so many, many others who touched my life, who exemplified servant leadership every day. And so I learned from them the issue of issues of justice, that you have to continue to fight that. You don't fight for justice and then go sit on the sidelines and think it will always be there. Because unfortunately, in this world, there are always those who don't believe in justice. And in this country, as African Americans and Black people in this country, we've always had to fight for our civil rights and our voting rights and so many other rights and issues of justice. And so I dedicate this moment, first again, to thank you for this honor. And I take it as an injection into my spirit to keep up the fight for justice. So join me, all of those with the Hall of Fame family, and especially our young people. It is all of our responsibility to serve our communities by fighting for what's right, from whichever way you can do that. And I will continue to do my part in this journey called life, to fight for the least of these, to have opportunity and to be able to have justice in this country. So thank you, God bless you, and thank you again, Hall of Fame.
So before they cut the mic off on me, I want you to do this repeat after me. We march for women's rights. We march for human rights. We are ready for the fight. We march for the least of these God's children. And we march because love trumps.
Here to formally induct Melanie Campbell as our Civil Rights inductee is Dr. George French, President, Clark Atlanta University.
Good evening. As president of Clark Atlanta University, it is indeed an honor and a privilege to formally induct one of the hardest working servant leaders in today's civil rights, women's rights, and social justice movement, CAU's outstanding alumna, Melanie L. Campbell, into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, class of 2021, in the category of civil rights. This well-deserved honor is a testament to her commitment to lifting up Black women and the African American community as a whole. Again, congratulations, Melanie L. Campbell. You make us CAU proud.
Congratulations, Ms. Melanie Campbell. Our next honoree is Mr. Gerald Harris, Sr. He is being inducted in the area of community service. Mr. Harris is the founder and president of Insurance Support Systems, Inc., and the Windy City Dolphins Youth Football and Cheerleading League, established in 1982 and 1994, respectively. Let's hear more about this community service inductee as we watch this video on Gerald Harris.
My name is Gerald K. Harris. I'm a proud graduate of Dillard University, class of 1977. I want to thank the Almighty for allowing us to accomplish the goals that we set out to. Without Him, we would not be able to accomplish these goals. I also want to say I'm honored in all. I think it's a tremendous thing that I was elected to the HBCU Hall of Fame. First, let me speak about Dillard University. When I left in 1973, I was a freshman and 17 years old. I really did not know a whole lot about black colleges. To my surprise and wonderment, I noticed that Dillard gave me more than I ever expected. The educational side was phenomenal. Not only was the educational side, what I really learned is social skills. Being in a small university, you had to deal with a lot of issues, both good and bad, but it prepared you for coming out to the business world. Additionally, in my senior year, I was able to be a part of the Social Welfare Club. This was one of my first exposure to community involvement and social welfare issues. When I was the member who had the ability and the good fortune of speaking to television, radio, and at the Marriott on Canal Street. The whole purpose is our campaigning for the first black mayor of New Orleans, Louisiana, the esteemed Ernest Muriel. That experience had me look at continuing my efforts in community involvement and politics. My journey continued to Chicago, Illinois, one of the biggest cities in America. The experience I got there is I started working with St. Paul Travelers Insurance Company. We'll go to that later. That is a good experience, and it provided my livelihood as it is today. What was important to me is I became the treasurer of the Dillard University Alumni Club. This now I'm starting to experience working with the community, the children. The high school graduates of that year, they were going to Dillard University, and we were doing fundraising, providing scholarship, and sharing the experience that we received at Dillard University. They loved it. It was a good experience, and we appreciate it. I then went on to be in 100 Black Men of Chicago. Once again, we're dealing with children as well, which led me into the Windy City Dolphins Youth Football and Cheerleading program. What happened there is we were responsible for dealing with young black boys and girls. 70% of the kids in our program was mother's head of household. That there made it real, I gotta stop. Windy City was my greatest experience here in Chicago because we dealt with many, many youth, and we were responsible for educating them, not only through football, but through these values here. Teaching accountability, discipline, responsibility, and teamwork. Those qualities either reveal or teach his character. We all need that to be a responsible adult. It is not even gathered in English, math, or any of those subjects. Teaching those various tools that they're gonna need when they grow up in their life, as they transition into adulthood. This has been my greatest experience for 28 years. We average about 200 kids every year. The good thing about it is we had children go to the top line high school in the Chicagoland, whether they be Catholic, whether they be private, or the magnet schools at that time. Now they're selective enrollments. After that, many kids, thousands of our kids, attended college and continued their career into business and professional America. We are delighted to be a part of that. In addition to that, we taught them fundraising, investing, how to treat women. That came from being an executive vice president of Women Abused and Children Abused Funding Organization. Young men, you need to treat the women who are the heart of us, what we do, how you are developed with respect. So, I would also like to mention my experience with a young executive in politics. That was headed by the Honorable Roslyn Ardis, who was the comptroller of the state of Illinois and later the U.S. Senator come out of Illinois. We were exposed to local, state, and federal politics by talking to and getting experience from congressmen, state reps, state senators, U.S. senators, and the like. This experience allowed me to understand how blacks in Chicagoland was mistreated from an economic standpoint, educationally, mental health, housing, and other areas. It pushed us to campaign for the Honorable Harold Washington, who also was the first black mayor of Chicago. These experiences in constantly being involved in the community and politics lead me to believe that you need to stay in, one, the community first, and being political as well. I want to really thank you all for allowing me to be inducted to the great HBCU Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Here to formally induct Mr. Harris into the Hall of Fame is Mr. Joshua Williams, National Alumni Association President, Dillard University.
Community service continues to be known as the rent one pays for the space he occupies. In the wonderful city of Chicago, this statement has been proven daily by the works of Mr. Gerald K. Harris, Sr. For over the last 30 years, he has been the founder and president of Insurance Support Systems Incorporated and the Windy City Dolphins Youth Football and Cheerleading Leagues. As president of both organizations, he is responsible for creating a healthy environment for our youth, applying the basic skills of being accountable and responsible, being disciplined, being respectful, and the foundation of how to work as a team. Gerald strongly believes that these qualities are essential for youth to become successful and productive citizens. Gerald continues to be an active member of the National Alumni Association and a true Blue Devil supporter of the students of Dillard University. He continues to acknowledge the importance of family and credits his success to that of his loving family. So as president of the Dillard University National Alumni Association, it gives me a great pleasure and a fond sense of humility to formally induct Gerald K. Harris, Sr. into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame in the category of community service.
Congratulations, Mr. Gerald Harris, Sr. Delta Airlines has supported the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame for many years. Let's hear from our longtime sponsor.
When you think of an airline, you think of the big things. And for the last year, we've all been dealing with the biggest thing yet, a virus we can't even see. So as you return to the world, we're making sure you do so safely. In ways big and small, the world has changed. But our commitment to getting you safely out in it, that never will.
Our education inductee is Dr. Adina Williams Lawson. She serves as the 14th president of St. Phillips College, our nation's only historically Black college and Hispanic serving institution with 3 military-based sites and 4 early college high schools. St. Phillips serves more than 13,000 students. Let's learn more about Dr. Williams Lawson by watching this video.
I am Dr. Adina Williams Lawson, a proud graduate of Alcorn State University. I attended Alcorn from 1970 to 1973, graduating in 3 years. I am honored to be inducted into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame in the area of education. My career now spans 45 years of service, and my ultimate goal is to receive the final judgment of saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Alcorn equipped me with the knowledge, skills, and mental tools to thrive and succeed on a national and international runway. Throughout my entire professional career, until I arrived here at St. Phillips College, every position I have held, I was either the first African American or the only African American in that position. While at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, I served as the Chief Education Officer. I was the highest ranking African American female in the agency. My responsibilities included standing up the education enterprise, rolling out the Educator Astronaut Program, and the NASA Explorer Schools. NASA had not had a teacher in space since Krista McAuliffe. My job was to identify outstanding teachers who ultimately became astronauts. I also served as the first African American female instructor at Arkansas State University. While at Georgia State University as an associate professor, I served as the first and only African American in that department. While at Santa Monica College in Santa Monica, California, I was the first African American instructional dean. In El Paso, I served as the first African American to head a campus. While at San Jacinto College South in Houston, Texas, I served as the first African American president in that district. And while at Houston Community College, I was the first and only African American that served as an instructional supervisor. It was not until I arrived here at St. Phillips College that I followed another African American. Growing up in the segregated South, I attended the Freedom Schools, and I traveled throughout the neighborhood as an assignment from my mother, getting other African Americans registered to vote. My mother believed in William Edward Barnhart Du Bois, that all 5 of her children would have a college degree. Daddy, my father, believed in Frederick Douglass and wanted all 5 of his children to have a skill or trade, something we could do with our hands. He wanted to ensure that all 5 of his children would forever remain economically independent. So I have the degree from Alcorn, and I'm a seamstress by trade. As president at St. Phillips College, an HBCU, and an HSI, I am now reaching my 15th year. The school has grown exponentially. We have increased our credit enrollment by 47%. We now enroll more than 13,000 credit students. We have 4 early college high schools. We serve 3 military bases. And in addition to that, we have more than 4,000 dual credit students taking courses at St. Phillips College. And in terms of the career pathways for students, we annually graduate more than 2,000 students. I stand on the shoulders of 2 iconic and prolific individuals. St. Phillips College enjoys a rich history and legacy of leadership. Our founding president, Artemisia Bowden, was named a saint, a holy woman, in 2015 by the Episcopal Church. She led the institution for 52 years. Our 8th president of St. Phillips College, Dr. Gloria Jackson, was the department chair at Alcorn State University when I attended Alcorn, and she became the 8th president of St. Phillips College. Truly, we have a rich history and legacy of African American women leading this institution. Whatever my assignment, I believe that if it passes through my hands, it must be appreciably better. Throughout my entire professional career, at every decision point, I have reflected upon my favorite book, my reference book, and specifically Esther 4:13 and 14. To sum it up is, for such a time as this, you have come to this position. And so ultimately, in all of my decision points, I think about the fact that I was placed in this position for this time to make this critical decision point. The royal purple and gold is in my DNA. As Alcorn State University celebrates its sesquicentennial, 150 years of existence, we're also celebrating the renaissance of HBCUs as we're seeing an increased enrollment, somewhat attributed to the fact that we now have our own product, the product of an HBCU, sitting at the helm in the number 2 position of our free nation, and that is Kamala Harris as Vice President of the United States. I want to say thank you to Alcorn State University for this nomination. Thank you to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation for accepting Alcorn's nomination and honoring me at this period in our history.
Here to formally induct our education honoree is Dr. Felicia Nave, President, Alcorn State University.
As president of Alcorn State University, the nation's first public HBCU land-grant institution, it gives me great pleasure to formally present our distinguished alumna, Dr. Adina Williams Lawson, for induction into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, Class of 2021 in Education. As one of Alcorn's highest profile alumnae, Dr. Lawson is an extraordinary woman of many barrier-breaking firsts. In her remarkable academic career, she was the first and only Black female instructor, dean, and provost at several universities. In 1997, Lawson became the first Black president at Houston-based San Jacinto College until NASA recruited her to serve as Director of Education and Special Assistant of Special Orbital Projects. During her tenure, she was NASA's highest-ranking African-American female. Dr. Lawson now serves as the 14th president of St. Phillips College in San Antonio, Texas. She has received numerous awards during her accomplished career, including NASA's Outstanding Leadership Medal and Exceptional Achievement Medal, the Daisy Bates Education Advocacy Award from the NAACP, and the W.E.B. Du Bois Higher Education Award from the National Alliance of Black School Educators. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Adina Williams Lawson, a courageous trailblazer who has made a difference in the lives of so many.
Congratulations to Dr. Lawson. Rev Dr. Kevin Muriel is our faith honoree. He serves as senior pastor of Cascade United Methodist Church and was named one of Emory University's 40 under 40. The SCLC women recognized his community and social activism by naming him the 2019 Drum Major for Justice Luminary Award recipient. Let's learn more about Dr. Muriel on this videotape.
Greetings. I would like to thank the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Board for this honor, and I also want to congratulate all of my fellow inductees. In 2004, when I arrived on the campus of Jackson State University, I felt a part of something special. As a child, I grew up attending events at JSU, and I knew early that I wanted to join the legacy of many of my family members who had attended the university. Playing football for the Tigers and winning a SWAC championship as well as building lifelong friendships, are among the greatest gifts given to me by Jackson State. Not to mention, I received a world-class education that prepared me for the rigors of life and leadership. The HBCU experience is indeed like none other. There is an expectation of excellence and a spirit of community unlike any other place on earth. I want to thank President Thomas Hudson for his continued and exceptional leadership, and to the faculty, staff, and leaders of Jackson State for continuing to challenge minds and change lives. To the alumni for your unwavering support of our beloved institution, thank you. And finally, I want to thank my family, especially my amazing wife, Ashley, for her continued support and encouragement. And to my Cascade Church family, thank you for loving me as your pastor and for supporting the vision of our ministry. I believe the best is still yet to come, and I am indeed grateful to my dear old college home, the I love, Jackson State University. Again, thank you for this honor.
Here to formally induct our faith honoree is Dr. Thomas Hudson, Jackson State University.
As president of Jackson State University, it gives me great pleasure to formally induct our highly recognized Rev Dr. Kevin R. Muriel into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame class of 2021 in the category of faith. Rev Muriel has been a stellar representative of Jackson State University, which is displayed in his acts of service and quality of character. On behalf of Jackson State University, I offer heartfelt congratulations to Rev Dr. Kevin R. Muriel on this significant achievement.
Congratulations, Reverend Dr. Kevin Muriel. Our next inductee is retired Major General John Phillips. He is our government honoree. Retired Major General John Phillips is former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense in the Clinton administration. He was Vice President of Honeywell International and Vice President of the Home Depot Government Solutions Group, which he formed. He is now President of Phillips Aviation and Logistics Group. Let's learn more about this distinguished honoree.
Hello, I am Major General John Phillips, a graduate of Jarvis Christian College, and I wish to thank the Board of Directors of the National Black College Hall of Fame Foundation for this prestigious award. To be inducted into the class of 2021 honorees is truly one of the highlights of my career. I wish to offer a special thanks to my alma mater, Jarvis Christian College, and its distinguished president, Dr. Lester Newman, for its recognition and submission of my name. I have often referred to Jarvis as a small college of intellectual giants. The leadership and faculty continues to produce students that are nationally and internationally recognized. Jarvis prepared me academically and socially for the world I was about to encounter. As my parents were also Jarvis graduates, I have long recognized the place of HBCUs in America's society. HBCUs provide a whole person learning experience, developing the academic, the social, the moral, and leadership skills that are necessary to compete in a very challenging world. In my position as Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Logistics, I routinely worked with HBCUs to get them involved in the Department of Defense programs. I was never disappointed, and I will continue to champion HBCUs and assist them in penetrating Pentagon programs of record, not because they're HBCUs, but because they are highly qualified and grossly underrepresented. Again, I wish to thank Jarvis and the National Black College Hall of Fame Foundation for this prestigious award and recognition. I pledge to continue to work with HBCUs such that they become very active in the Department of Defense.
Here to formally induct retired General Phillips is Dr. Lester Newman, President, Jarvis Christian College.
Hello, as president and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, administration, faculty, staff, and students, and alumni at Jarvis Christian College, it gives me great pleasure to formally present our distinguished alumnus and a member of the Jarvis Christian College Board of Trustees, the highly decorated retired Major General John F. Phillips, for induction into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, class of 2021 in the category of government. Congratulations, we're very proud of you.
Congratulations, retired Major General John Phillips. Wherever you are this evening, let's give a round of applause to all of our honorees. But right now, we're going to pause to hear from our very talented poet laureate and dedicated supporter, Mr. Hank Stewart.
What are you giving me? What are you putting in my hand? What you're giving me has just altered, it has changed my plans. Why are you looking at me like that? There is this look in your eyes. Am I even qualified to accept this? Would there be a ceremony? Do I need cap and gown? Need I be baptized? I know you're tired. I know you deserve rest. How can I say no with all that you've poured into me, all that you've invested? I'll take it. Okay, I'll take the baton, I'll carry the torch. You've earned the right to relax, the right to sit on the porch. I accept the baton and all the responsibilities that it holds. I accept the challenge to stand tall and bold, to fight for justice, to stay on the wall. I'll do what needs to be done. Yes, I accept the call. And integrity will stand with me, even if we have to stand alone, to speak truth no matter who's wrong. You fought the good fight. You've completed your assignment. Pass me the baton. Our souls are in alignment. I'll sacrifice my body just like you. I'll stand or kneel against racism, sexism, discrimination, regardless of the hue. I'll get up early and I'll stay up late. And when it's my time to be tested, just like you, I won't take the bait. I accept the baton because it's my turn. I accept for all of our ancestors who were raped, beaten, those who were burned. I accept because before midnight, December the 31st, 1862, our ancestors were praying to God on their knees. I accept for all of our ancestors who were hung from those trees. I accept because dogs and water holes didn't turn you around. I accept because you stood up and spoke out, even when you didn't know the language. You didn't know a person, place, or a thing was a noun. I accept because at the bottom of that bridge you were beaten and left for dead. Broken bones, tear gas, blood dripping down your head. I accept because you sat when you had tired feet. I accept because the only way we could walk into that hotel was through the back door, and it was only to wash dishes, cook, maybe on the bed, change the sheets. I accept because America was built on the land our ancestors toiled. I stand because our ancestors' blood fertilized these soils. So if it rains, I stand. If it's hot, no fan, I stand with the weight on my shoulders, but the foundation that I stand on makes me bolder. I stand for those who didn't get a chance. I stand for those who died because a white woman said at me he took a glance. I even stand for those that look like me, but they are forgotten. Although our ancestors were side by side in the fields picking cotton. I stand for seniors. I stand for children. I fight for one. I advocate for millions. I stand for our ancestors whose dreams of freedom they would hold fast. I stand for our ancestors who died for this country and the flag was never flown for them at half-mast. I stand for those living on the bridges and sleeping on makeshift pallets. I stand for our ancestors who knew our voice was in the census, was in our vote, it was on the booth, and it was in the ballot. Yes, I stand, so yea, do I walk through the valleys and the shadows of death. It's about others now, no longer about self. Give me the baton, I carry it with pride. I won't let the torch burn out, the baton hit the ground, even when I'm tired. You trained me. Now I'm one of your lieutenants. I take the baton from my ancestors, so one day I can pass it to our descendants. I accept. Do you?
Our next honoree is Mrs. Dorothy Brown Cook, who is being inducted in the area of law. Mrs. Cook was elected clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County, Illinois in 2000 and was re-elected to 4 additional terms of office. She is the longest-serving clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County and the longest-serving African American in a county-wide Cook County executive elected office. Let's learn more about this talented honoree on this videotape.
Picked cotton in Louisiana as a child, graduated college, got your MBA, got your law degree, moved to Chicago, a non-machine politician.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Brown Cook, better known as Dorothy Rev during my college days. I'm a proud graduate of Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I am proud and honored to be inducted into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. I was born to David and Dinky Rev, and they were poor and uneducated, but they were strong believers in education to get you out of poverty. They sent all 8 of their children to Southern University. I came from humble beginnings, raised in a small town called Minden, Louisiana. Even picking and chopping cotton on a small family farm in Athens, Louisiana, to help ends meet. I started my high school career by integrating the white high school as a freshman, and I graduated from Webster High School, the black high school, over 50 years ago, learning my competitive skills on the girls' basketball team. Serving others is innate for me, and I learned early on from my father to fight for civil rights. I remember delivering water to the picket lines and marching for voting rights in 1965, holding my father's hand as James Farmer led the march down Main Street in our town, teaching me that, as Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, even in small town USA. I honed not only my academic, but my leadership and civil rights skills at Southern University. That's what attending an HBCU school does for you. It gave me a sense of self and pride. I became a leader while participating in the boycott of classes for better school funding. I came face to face with the Louisiana Army National Guard as I exited the school's administration building with 3 other girls. They trained their rifles on us as I led the girls to safety, but not before we witnessed the 2 unarmed students, Denver Smith and Leonard Brown, laying on the ground, dead from being shot by one of the National Guard, who never was charged. That experience solidified me as a civil rights activist. The title to my biography will be When Number One is Not Good Enough, because although I graduated number 1 in the College of Business and number 1 in the accounting department, not one major accounting firm made me a job offer. My skin was too dark, and my afro was too kinky. I decided to not let them define me, so I accepted an offer from a utility company in Chicago and went on to become one of the youngest black CPAs in Illinois. I then got a job with the largest accounting firm in the world, Arthur Andersen, a job with a large national bank, and then helped one of the first black partners of Arthur Andersen to start an accounting firm, and became the general auditor of the 2nd largest mass transit system in the country. I obtained an MBA and a law degree, and then, as a Shirley Chisholm, unbought and unbossed independent Democrat, not controlled by the Chicago machine, I became the first African American in the history of Cook County, Illinois, to be elected clerk of the Circuit Court, the 2nd largest court system in the world, controlling a $100 million budget and 2,200 employees. A long way from the cotton fields of Louisiana.
It's just surreal.
That little girl from Louisiana became a political machine of her own and on her own. Elected 5 times as clerk of the Circuit Court of Cook County.
Good morning.
Running one of the largest court systems in the world.
While serving as clerk of the Circuit Court, I not only revolutionized the office, I helped thousands of people to get a second chance at life through my one-of-a-kind full-service expungement center. I made getting orders of protections easier for domestic violence victims and wrote many laws to help level the playing field for citizens. I retired after 20 years of dedicated service as clerk of the Circuit Court, and my plan now is to be a major consultant and to serve on boards of multinational corporations and help people with expungements. I say to other HBCU graduates, Regardless of what your beginnings are, make the most of the God's minute that the late Dr. Benjamin E. Mays, former president of Morehouse College and a National Black College Hall of Famer, spoke of, who said, "I have only 1 minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. It's up to me to use it, must give an account if I abuse it. I will suffer if I lose it, but it's just a tiny minute, but eternity is in it." God bless you, and thank you to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation for this wonderful honor. Thank you.
Here to formally induct Mrs. Cook to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame is Dr. Ray Belton, President, Southern University.
As president of the Southern University System, it gives me great pleasure to formally induct Dorothy Rab Brown Cook into the National Alumni Hall of Fame class of 2021 in the category of law. This distinguished achievement is well deserved, as Mrs. Cook has been a consistent and positive figure in her profession. We are honored to be a part of her journey as her first higher education home. On behalf of the Jaguar Nation, we salute and congratulate you, Mrs. Cook, for this outstanding achievement.
Congratulations, Mrs. Dorothy Brown Cook. Dr. Alvin Blunt Jr. is our next honoree. Dr. Blunt is being inducted posthumously as our medicine honoree. Dr. Alvin Blunt Jr. was a successful surgeon and humanitarian. He earned his MD degree in 1947 and interned for a year at the Freedmen's Hospital, where he had the opportunity to work with the legendary Dr. Charles Drew, professor of surgery. Representing Dr. Blunt and accepting on behalf of the Blunt family is their son, Terrence Blunt.
Hello, my name is Terry Blunt, and I'm the oldest sibling of Dr. Alvin Blunt, the awardee tonight. And on behalf of my 6 other siblings and his only surviving sibling, my aunt, Mildred, we would like to thank you for bestowing this honor on our father. He was truly a remarkable man. We knew him only as Daddy, but he was a very, very special kind of dad. If he were here today, I'm sure he would reflect upon his youth and the values that his parents bestowed in him. I'm sure he would spend a lot of time talking about the A&T State University, A&T College, when he went there in 1939, and how he was exposed to the precept of achievement in every field of human endeavor. And somehow he drank the magic water there, and for the rest of his life, A&T was a part of his life. I'm sure he'd talk about his experience at Howard University, where he was exposed to the Dr. Charles Drew, and also one of his very, very close assistants, Dr. Samuel Bullock, who also instructed him in the art of surgery. I'm sure he'd talk about his experience at Kate Biddings Hospital in Winston-Salem and what that was like in helping him become a medical professional. I'm sure he would spend a little time on being in the military, particularly during the Korean War, and what it was like being engaged in a mass unit. And of course, when he came back home to Greensboro, North Carolina, I really don't think he would spend too much time on that. I think he would say, let my record speak for itself as it relates to Greensboro. But he would not hesitate to thank the men in the Greensboro Men's Club, for the time that he fellowshipped with them, nor would he forget the men in the Beta Epsilon Boule, where he spent hours upon hours of intellectual exchange. And I'm sure he would close his remarks by thanking a very, very, very special person, his wife of more than 50 years, Gwendolyn Harris, the brilliant lady from Eastern North Carolina. And so, on behalf of all of us, including the hundreds upon hundreds of men and women that my parents adopted and are now located throughout the United States and the free world, we just want to say thank you for this honor, and God bless.
Here to formally induct Dr. Blunt is Mr. Harold Martin Sr., Chancellor, North Carolina A&T University.
As Chancellor of North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, I am truly humbled to have the honor of formally inducting our distinguished alumnus, Dr. Alvin V. Blunt, Jr., posthumously into the National Black College Hall of Fame, class of 2021, in the category of medicine. I had the great privilege of knowing Dr. Blunt and can attest to his exceptional contributions to medicine, civil rights, and to society. A history-making doctor in the Korean War who led the first racially integrated MASH unit as the Army's first Black chief surgeon, he was known for personally performing as many as 90 surgeries in 1 week. Yet as historic as Dr. Blunt was, he faced segregation and discrimination when he returned to Greensboro, North Carolina after the war. He was one of 11 plaintiffs, doctors, dentists, and patients who successfully fought the Moses Cone Hospital's ban against allowing Black doctors to have privileges. They not only won their case, it became a critical support in the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, especially Title VI, which bars provision of federal funding to organizations that discriminate on the basis of race. He lived and practiced medicine as a distinguished surgeon here in Greensboro for many years. In 2016, at the age of 94, and as the last surviving member of the plaintiff group, a public apology from the hospital, which gave funds to establish scholarship endowment for minority medical students in the plaintiff's names, and erected a historical plaque for all to see near the hospital. His life's work complete, Dr. Blount passed away 3 months later, leaving behind an extraordinary legacy. I'm among many who will never forget the incredible contributions of Dr. Alvin V. Blunt, Jr.
Congratulations to the Blunt family. Dr. Valerie Thomas is our science honoree this evening. From 1986 through 1990, Dr. Thomas served as project manager for the Space Physics Analysis Network, SPAN, NASA's first wide area network. During a period of reconfiguration, it grew from 100 computer nodes to a network directly connecting 2,700 computer nodes worldwide and became a major part of NASA's science networking. And today's internet. Can you imagine? Let's learn more about this amazing scientist by watching her video.
I am Dr. Valerie L. Thomas, and I'm honored to be selected for inclusion in the 2021 class of inductees for the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. I am a 1964 graduate of Morgan State College with a degree in physics. I'm a retired NASA mathematician, a scientist, a seamstress, and an inventor. Growing up in the 1940s and 50s, the world was much different than it is today. There were no computers, no internet, no cell phones. During the early 50s, there were no TVs. And there were almost no cars in the community that I grew up in, especially in my neighborhood. Without the STEM resources available to students today, I focused my learning on observation, trial and error, and figuring things out. I grew up in a very interesting community. It was a new community developed for African Americans who were migrating from the South and attracted to Baltimore for the good paying war effort jobs during World War II and for returning vets when the war was over. My family moved to Cherry Hill, to the Cherry Hill Projects, when I was 3 years old, and we stayed there until my last year, the last part of my last year at Morgan State College. Growing up in Cherry Hill was a very good experience for young people. There was a lot of space, rolling hills, lots of grass, wild cherry trees, and a unique layout of the streets. Since there were no cars in the street, we did a lot of playing in the streets. My father was a returning vet. He got a job as an insurance agent and then at Social Security Administration. He went to school at night at Loyola College and got a degree in business administration. My father had two hobbies. One was photography and the other one was electronics. And I observed him when he was working on each of those hobbies. Around age 3 or 4, while he was processing his photographs, I was observing him. And during that time, photograph processing involved chemicals, and he also had made an enlarger. While I was watching him using his enlarger, unwillingly, I was being introduced to optics. When TVs were available for the home, he worked on the TV, and I observed him as he worked on our TV. And looking inside, I noticed there were mechanical parts. And I became curious. How did mechanical parts inside the TV result in a video on the screen? That was my first introduction to electronics. I was hoping my father would help me make some electronic projects that were in books that I had borrowed from the library. Now, I never really asked him for help, and he did not indicate any interest in helping me. Now, I never asked him for help. I sort of assumed he would notice that I was interested. But I think my father's perspective was that electronics was not for girls, that I should be sewing and doing hair like my mother did. Now, I did those things, but I was still interested in electronics. I was hoping, or I should say, I was expecting that electronic classes would be available when I got to junior high school or when I got to senior high school. Well, that didn't happen either. When I was in senior high school and I was taking physics, one day the teacher walked in and she surprised the class by having a pop verbal physics quiz. Now, when she asked me the physics question, I was able to answer it correctly, much to my surprise, because I had not reviewed any of my notes from any of my previous classes. As a result of that, physics replaced my interest in electronics because it addressed my what makes things tick question. Now, in terms of mathematics, while I was in high school, my highest level of math was geometry. But I could have taken my highest level of math was geometry in my curriculum. I could have taken advanced math courses as electives. Even though I was very good in math since elementary school, I did not know how important it was to take as much math as I could. So I chose to take sewing and art classes as my electives. When I got to Morgan, it was a very interesting experience for me. First of all, it was co-ed. I had gone to an all-girls high school. It was affordable. It was local. And it had reasonable sized classes, approachable staff, and a very positive environment. However, I had math challenges with the required calculus and trigonometry classes. I had never heard of either of them. And that was because I didn't take advanced math classes in high school. That issue was resolved by me taking a class in calculus, and the head of the physics department explained trigonometry to me in about 20 minutes. After mastering calculus and trigonometry, I took a class called abstract algebra. That was the first time that class had been offered at Morgan, and it required permission from the head of the department to even take the class. I took that class, and then I took the follow-up class. And I think taking that class was why NASA hired me. I started work at NASA 1 week after graduation. I was hired as a NASA mathematician/data analyst, and my job was to write programs for computers. Since I had not seen a computer before in my life, except in science fiction movies, I decided to learn everything I could about computers, inside and out. And I did that through hands-on experience, graduate school, and seminars. And during that time, people who worked on computers, writing programs for computers, were either mathematicians, scientists, or engineers. Now, after I mastered computer science, I played leading roles. I had leadership responsibilities for a variety of NASA projects, developing quick look processors for the Orbiting Geophysical Observatory, OGO scientists, managing the development of Landsat digital products, leading the NASA Goddard team for the Large Area Crop Inventory Experiment, LACY, managing the Space Physics Analysis Network, and the creation of the Menards University Space Interdisciplinary Network. I had first-hand knowledge about how important it was to take as much math as possible, understanding mathematics, and hands-on experience. I shared my knowledge with the youth by speaking to them at schools and other meetings, serving as a mentor for NASA summer interns, and serving as president of nonprofit STEM organizations, the National Technical Association, NTA, Science, Mathematics, Aerospace Research and Technology, SMART, and Shades of Blue. Many people who know me now know me as an inventor. I invented the illusion transmitter and got a patent for it in 1980. The significance of the illusion transmitter is that it produces images that look like 3D, but it's not necessary to have special glasses to view the images that look like 3D.
Here to formally induct Dr. Thomas as our science honoree is Dr. David Wilson, President, Morgan State University.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Wilson, President of Morgan State University. I send congratulations this evening to Dr. Valerie Thomas on the occasion of her being inducted into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Dr. Thomas is a proud alum of Morgan State University. She came here in the 1960s and majored in physics, one of only two female students at Morgan to major in physics. Dr. Thomas had an amazing tenure as a student here at Morgan. She went on from here to NASA, where she was responsible there for a major invention that was a part of Landsat that actually she won a patent for. And that invention was responsible for sending some of the first images from space to Earth. Dr. Thomas has been very interested in engineering and physics and science since she was a young girl growing up here in the Baltimore area. Even in her retirement, she has remained true to ensuring that young black girls understand that they can be extraordinarily successful as inventors, as innovators in the STEM space. And so she still spends her time around the Baltimore area cultivating the talent of these young girls. Dr. Thomas, on behalf of your entire Morgan State University family, spread all over the globe, we are so enormously proud of you. Congratulations on a well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
Congratulations, Dr. Thomas. Hasn't this been an exciting evening? We're going to hear more inductees shortly. Now, we want to pay tribute to a sponsor who has been supportive of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame since its inception, Georgia Pacific. Let's take a look at their video.
Georgia Pacific invests in organizations that seek to break down barriers to education, ensure equal justice, address persistent poverty, and promote understanding between people of different races, backgrounds, and perspectives. Our vision of a just society, where everyone has an opportunity to reach their full potential, is at the heart of our people and our work. As committed corporate citizens, we'll continue to do our part to fight for the equal rights for all and an unmovable belief in the inherent dignity of every person.
Again, our thanks to our longtime sponsor, Georgia Pacific. Dr. Laureen Robinson is one of our Lifetime Achievement honorees. She worked for independent newspapers as a proofreader and ad compositor, and holds a master's degree in human resource management from Wilmington University and a Doctor of Education from Delaware State University. Let's learn more about this honoree.
Good evening. First, I wish to thank the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation, Incorporated, and the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this Lifetime Achievement Award. I give honor, praise, and glory to God for the longevity of my professional tenure serving my alma mater. It has been a rewarding experience that I was privileged to enjoy for nearly 4 decades. There were the inevitable bumps in the road, but joy in the journey. It is with humility that I accept this award, and I do so in homage to my family, friends, and colleagues who have traveled the long road with me. At the end of the road, and at the end of the day, I'm proud to have contributed to the advancement, vitality, and viability of my beloved Delaware State University during my lifetime of service. I wish to thank Delaware State University for nominating me for this prestigious award and for the opportunities afforded me during my tenure. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, and may you continue to inspire, and may you be blessed.
Here to formally induct Dr. Robinson is Dr. Tony Allen, President, Delaware State University.
Hi everybody, my name is Tony Allen, the proud president of Delaware State University, and I could not be more excited to formally induct one of our own, Dr. Laureen K. Robinson, into the National Black College Hall of Fame for Alumni, class of 2021. I'm fortunate to know Dr. Robinson personally and her 35 years of service here at Delaware State University. where she not only helped us get support from our alumni and stakeholders around the country, but she did it with great Hornet pride. She's a friend, she's consistent, and she embodies everything we believe here at Delaware State University. Enter to learn and go forth to serve. Lorene, on behalf of Delaware State University and all of your friends and family, we congratulate you, we thank you, and we certainly love you. Take care.
Congratulations, Dr. Laureen Robinson. Dr. Ann Gales Felton is our next Lifetime Achievement honoree. Dr. Gales Felton has dedicated much of her life to the field of education through both teaching and philanthropy. She served decades at FAMU as an undergraduate and graduate professor of secondary education. Let's learn more about this distinguished honoree by watching this videotape.
I am very happy to be here tonight. I'm very glad to see you here tonight. We are experiencing one of the greatest experiences of America. Democracy is a system of relationships which focuses upon the importance of the individual. The affair tonight is focusing upon us. It's telling us how important we are. And we're all happy about that. We're all grateful to the National Black College Alumni Association for sponsoring such an event. It tells us that all these years of working as educators have been great, have been thought of as being of use to the country as a whole. We should be proud of the fact that we're not the only ones proud of what we've done, but there are others who are, and they're showing it in this way. That's the American way. This is one of the greatest characteristics of an American society, that the individual is the important person. So based upon that, I have two reasons for thanking the officials who planned this affair tonight. First, you are fulfilling a social responsibility, a democratic responsibility, of letting people know that they are important, that they are needed, that they are useful. You're motivating people to continue to carry on this American culture. Secondly, I want to thank them for adding one more star to my crown. This is a star of many stars, but I want them to know that this is the most important star. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award. It's an award which takes into consideration all the awards that I have received. And I want to thank you for bringing a conclusion to the one purpose I have today. And that purpose is to try to finish my autobiography. And I have not been able to finish it because there's so much I don't know what to put down now. But with this award, I don't need to put anything else. You've taken all of that into consideration, all that I've earned and all that I could ever earn. So thank you very much for this Lifetime Award.
Here to formally induct Dr. Gales Felton into the NBCA Hall of Fame is Dr. Paul Jones, President, Fort Valley State.
As president of Fort Valley State University, it gives me great pleasure to formally induct our distinguished alumna, Dr. Ann Gales Felton, into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Class of 2021 in a category of Lifetime Achievement.
Congratulations, Dr. Ann Gales Felton. Mrs. Loretta Hasty Holloway is also being inducted tonight in the category of Lifetime Achievement. This retired secondary education instructor and administrator has more than 35 years' experience in education. She served as an adjunct professor at the University of Missouri, and she completed studies at Central Michigan University, Indiana University, and the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Let's learn more about Mrs. Holloway by watching this video.
Greetings. I am Loretta Hasty Holloway, a 1975 and 1976 graduate of North Carolina Central University. I am indeed honored to receive the National Black College Hall of Fame Award. Via my 35-year career as an educator and during retirement, it has been my mission to make an impact on the lives of children and young adults. I must say that learning to help others began while watching my parents demonstrate the goodness of giving and assisting others in need. North Carolina Central University prepared me to live my dream of becoming an educator, following in the footsteps of my mother. I am indebted to my school forever for the nurturing and confidence I gained to have my 35-year career. Philanthropy is the norm in my household, so it is important to always give back. I believe in HBCUs and the power they have to foster young minds to reach and exceed their intended desires. My family members are HBCU graduates, husband, both daughters, son-in-law, and 2 brothers from NCCU, sister from Winston-Salem State University, and my mother from Fayetteville State University. I enjoy volunteering at my university, and my greatest joy comes while working with the NCCU Lady Soaring to Eagle Promise mentoring program, initiated by our school's First Lady, Mrs. Juanita Akaleye. This program focuses on first-generation, first-year female students to the university. We are able to provide monthly workshops, cultural and networking experiences, volunteer opportunities, and a one-on-one mentor for each student throughout their time at the university. We provide experiences most have not had by encouraging, supporting needs, and cheering these young ladies to the finish line defined by our university, degree in hand and market ready for a global workforce. Volunteering in my community is also enriching. As a member of the Assistance League Triangle area, a chapter of the National Assistance League. The mission of this organization is to transform the lives of women, children, and families through community programs. An all-volunteer organization, we operate a thrift shop, which is a major source of funding, and write grants to support our philanthropic programs. New clothing, shoes, and school supplies for children preschool through 12th grade, need-based scholarships for graduating seniors and continuing college students, providing support for women and their families in distress situations, and providing comfort items for children being treated at several different emergency departments. Opportunity to volunteer my time and share my talents are gratifying and heartwarming, especially when you witness the difference your small part plays to better a person's life. My mother often repeated several quotes that now reminds me of the possibilities that exist. If you can serve one life today, that's a good day. And ask not, get not. When soliciting funds for support, one cannot be afraid to ask. Sometimes we don't recognize that the gesture of giving of your time makes a huge difference in the lives of others. So, it is with profound gratitude that I accept the National Black College Hall of Fame Award. Thank you for this honor.
Here to formally induct Loretta Hasty Holloway into the NBCA Hall of Fame is Dr. Johnson Akinleye, Chancellor, North Carolina Central University.
Greetings. As Chancellor of North Carolina Central University, it gives me great pleasure to know that our outstanding alumni, Mrs. Loretta Hasty Holloway, has been inducted into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame class of 2021 in the category of Lifetime Achievement. An NCCU graduate from the class of 1975, Mrs. Holloway served as an educator for more than 30 years and has contributed to her alma mater in immeasurable ways prior to and since her retirement. She's been a powerful advocate, ambassador, and recruiter. Her efforts have showcased the benefits of an NCCU education. She has recruited hundreds of talented students to the university. Mrs. Holloway has supported NCCU financially in many ways, including establishing 2 endowed scholarships that provide critical assistance to students seeking to further their education. She served as a secondary educator in school systems in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Missouri, and Indiana, all while staying heavily engaged in the NCCU alumni network. Mrs. Holloway knows the value of ensuring that a college education is accessible to the next generation of scholars. She puts those values to work as program chairperson of the Ladies Soaring to Eagle Promise Mentoring Program, an initiative funded by the First Lady, Mrs. Juanita Akinlaev, that focuses on first-generation, first-year female students attending NCCU. In addition, she has volunteered and served as co-coordinator at her class reunions, where she undertakes responsibilities such as organizing events for classmates and coordinating giving campaigns that meet or exceed fundraising goals. The Holloway family, Mrs. Holloway, her husband, Kevin, and their 2 daughters, Kivon and Lynetta, are all alumni of NCCU. All 4 display the values of Eagle excellence, beginning successful careers in their respective industries shortly after graduation. North Carolina Central University congratulates Mrs. Loretta Hasty Holloway for her contributions and her investments of talent, resources, and volunteer hours in ways that have touched the lives of countless NCCU students and alumni, thus enriching the entire university community. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mrs. Loretta Hasty Holloway. Mr. Alden McDonald is receiving the Chairman's Award tonight. Mr. McDonald Jr. is President and CEO of Liberty Bank and Trust Company, one of the top African-American-owned financial institutions in the United States. Here's more about Mr. McDonald.
Thank you for selecting me to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. This honor is special to me for many reasons. Number one, the chairman of our board of Liberty Bank has been a longtime president of an HBCU, Xavier University. Our bank that started in 1972 committed ourselves to the community that we would make things better for our community and for the African American community. It is a privilege for us to continue supporting the HBCUs. In the last 45 years, Liberty Bank has invested a lot of funds in raising money, in raising millions of dollars for HBCUs. We feel that education is a very, very significant piece for our community to grow. And in raising money, we help provide scholarships for many HBCUs through the National Black College Alumni Foundation. I want to thank the National Black College Alumni Foundation for all of the work it's doing and has been doing over the years. Their tremendous job of providing funding for Black students, HBCUs, is a tremendous benefit to helping everyone close the wealth gap in America and have a better quality of life. I am honored again to be the recipient of the Chairman's Award, and on behalf of Liberty Bank, 49 years in business, and the 200 employees that we represent, and being the largest African American bank in the country, I thank all of our depositors, because when you bank with an African American bank, you are raising funds to better the community at large. So we thank you once again for this great honor and pledge to you we will continue working on behalf of HBCUs and providing scholarships to the many colleges and universities to help our community, to help our students get through this hurdle in life of being educated for their future. Thank you once again.
Here to formally induct Mr. McDonald into the NBCA Hall of Fame is Dr. Walter Kimbrough, President, Dillard University.
As president of Dillard University, it gives me great pleasure to formally induct Mr. Alden J. McDonald Jr. into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Class of 2021 in the chosen category of Chairman's Award. Mr. McDonald has done a phenomenally great job in the city of New Orleans supporting our historically Black colleges and universities. He was credited for starting the first UNCF fundraiser for the city of New Orleans out of his home that he hosted for years. Later on, he was able to partner with the Hyatt Regency, and so that event grew to be one of the largest and sometimes the largest fundraiser of any city for UNCF. He has been a tremendous supporter of HBCUs, of Dillard University, and we are excited that he can be inducted into this Hall of Fame for his great work. So on behalf of the entire Dillard University community and the entire city of New Orleans, Mr. McDonald, we want to congratulate you on your induction into the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Mr. Alden McDonald Jr. Now let's give all our honorees another round of applause. And now it's my distinct honor to present to you the man who had the vision to honor graduates of historically Black colleges. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, Mr. Thomas Dortch Jr.
Good evening. I'm Thomas W. Dortch Jr., Chairman and founder of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation, Incorporated. I want to thank all of you for joining us again tonight as we celebrated some of the greatest graduates of any college or university in this nation or the world. They are phenomenal people making a tremendous difference throughout this country and throughout the world. I want to begin, though, now by thanking some very special investors into the Hall of Fame, into this weekend. Delta Airlines and the Georgia Pacific Foundation for their great support as they have over the decades with the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame Foundation. I want to also thank Mass Mutual and, of course, the bank that has been with us all of these years too, Wells Fargo. Thank you for your investment into all of the things that we do. But I want to get back to this great class of 2021. These graduates have made a difference because they have had the stamp of approval from the greatest institutions that exist, our historical Black colleges and universities. I thank the chancellors and presidents for their presentation, and Monica Pearson, my sister who's been with us all of these years and continue to be a main part of what we do in the Hall of Fame. You know, we have many challenges before us today, and our HBCUs are meeting those challenges. And we thank you, the alumni and friends and the students who helped us to weather the storm of this pandemic. We thank you for our great leadership of our presidents and chancellors who've kept the doors open, working with their board of trustees. We're going to get through this pandemic as long as we stay focused, as long as we make sure we get the vaccine, as long as we wear our mask, and more importantly, social distancing and working to make sure that we're helping others in the community. Black colleges have meant so much to all of us. All of my children are graduates of historical Black colleges and universities. I graduated from the Fort Valley State University, got my master's from Clark Atlanta University. But so many of you have gone to these great institutions and you are making a difference. So thank you for joining us. Understand that they need us now more than ever before. HBCUs were there when nobody else would give us an opportunity. And even though they say we can go to any institution, we cannot forsake these great institutions because they continue to develop the minds and open the pathway for opportunities and careers for all of us. Thank you for joining us. To the class of 2021, you make us proud. Continue to do all of the great things that you do. And we know historical Black colleges and universities are here to stay, and they will continue to shape the great minds of our young people and will continue to pave the way for the future of our communities and all communities. Again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you with us for our 2022 Hall of Fame weekend.
Thank you so much, Tommy Dortch, for this virtual walkthrough of Black history. Oh, what a night it is. We look forward to seeing all of you next year, hopefully in person, for the 37th celebration of the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame. Good night.
What to